Welcome to the third video in my Caribbean cruise series. Today's video is going to be all about Tortola, a port in the British Virgin Islands. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my Caribbean cruise playlist where I've got videos on the TUI Marella Discovery, which is the cruise ship that we travelled with. And I also have videos on the first two ports, which are Antigua and St. Martin. If you're lucky enough to be visiting Tortola, you are in for a treat. And in this video, I'm going to share with you everything that we got up to while we were there. Pulling in to Tortola, we had some of the most stunning views of the mountains. This is one of the huge perks of staying in a balcony cabin when you're on a cruise. This was definitely one of the most beautiful ports that we pulled into. The mountains just made it look so beautiful and the water was blue, crystal clear. There are 4 main islands that make up the British Virgin Islands. Ships pull in at Tortola and we did remain on Tortola. One of the other islands was called the Virgin Gorda and that looked really beautiful. We just didn't have any time to visit it. If you do have some time, they have an area called the Baths, which is a collection of boulders, and it looked really beautiful. We wish we had time to go. So back to Tortola, this was the most fun port that we arrived at. There was live music playing, people were dancing, I danced. It was so much fun. There are plenty of shops around here and places to get souvenirs and things like that. There's also a lot of bars and restaurants. There's taxis. They have these taxis with no doors that can take you around. They usually fill it up with a number of people before they drive off, and they can take you to the beaches and things like that. And you can also get tours by sea. If you're looking for somewhere to eat at this port, I would definitely recommend this restaurant. It was an Indian restaurant and it had the most delicious food. We thoroughly enjoyed eating here. We had a tour booked for the first half of the day, so we went ahead and got on our boat. It was a water tour of the British Virgin Islands. It was quite easy to navigate and find the boat that was taking us on our tour. Because the British Virgin Islands is split between 4 main different islands, I would definitely recommend doing a water tour just because we got to find out a lot more about all 4 of the main islands and they pointed them out to us and we could see them. The particular tour that we went on was very interesting. We love learning facts about everywhere that we visit. Also, the water was nice and calm, so it was nice to cruise along and get to know the place a little better. It was also really cool to see our cruise ship from the sea, which is something that we hadn't seen up until this point. Another thing that made this tour super fun is that they included free rum punches for the duration of the tour, so we really had a good time and I would definitely recommend doing this. The only caveat to this is that we didn't actually visit any of the other islands, so they would point things out and they were obviously off into the distance, so sometimes it was quite clear to see what they were pointing out, but other times you couldn't really see it too well, so that's the only downside of this. If you wanted to do a water tour, you'd be wise to check the weather beforehand. In case it's a little bit of stormy weather, then the water would not be still and I don't think it would be as enjoyable. After over 2 hours on the water, we finally arrived at the harbour that we were stopping at. This place is called Frenchman's Cay and the views were absolutely breathtaking when we pulled up. Lots of boats were docked in this area and we had about an hour's free time here to explore the restaurants and streets. The marina part where all the boats were located is called Sopers. This is also a fantastic place to buy some souvenirs, or you can just sit out here, enjoy some lunch and some drinks and watch the world go by. If you're enjoying this video and you find it helpful, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and also if you like travel content, make sure you subscribe and check out my other videos. We didn't really get too long at this harbour. We wish we'd had more time to spend here enjoying ourselves, but it was time to leave and head into these cars to head to the next location. These are the taxis that I mentioned earlier, which had no doors, and a lot of us packed in there. The next place was on the other side of the island and it rained along the way. We stopped at this little bar and had a drink. This place was meant to be a really beautiful view of Tortola, but we couldn't really see much because it had rained and it was really cloudy still, but we still got off the bus and enjoyed ourselves. The drive was really good because we got to see a lot more of Tortola and it was also along the coast, so it was really beautiful. The roads were quite steep and it was a little bit of a scary drive because there were no doors on the car. So it's quite an interesting journey and was definitely exciting, but the scenic route really did help us enjoy the ride. As we were driving along, the tour guide showed us all the interesting sights along the way, and this was one of them. We drove past the Shell Museum, which was quite interesting. It was just along the roadside and it had all these different types of shells. So the tour driver stopped so we can have a little look and give them some donations. It was quite interesting. I've never been to a shell museum before. It also happened to be the first day of the new year, so the first day of 2024 while we were in the British Virgin Islands. So they did us a nice New Year's song at the Shell Museum, which was really sweet.
A Happy New Year to you all. A Happy New Year to you all. A Happy New Year. A Happy New Year. A Happy New Year to you all.
After all that excitement, we headed to the next location, which is one of the most popular beaches in Tortola. We headed next to Cay Garden Bay. Luckily for us, the rain has stopped by now. The rain is only brief anyway on these islands, and it was late afternoon by the time we'd gotten here, so it was really not busy at all. We had been told prior to coming here that it can be very, very busy, but we didn't find that, so maybe late afternoon is a perfect time to have it a little bit more quiet. This beach was truly beautiful. The sun was gleaming down, the weather was beautiful, and the sea felt a very nice warm temperature. When we got there was lots of sunbeds that you could have rented out, or you can just decide to sit on the sand if you wanted to. Like I said, it's probably a lot more busier if you come like in the peak of the day. However, by the time we got there, it started to quieten down for the evening. There are tons of beach bars here for you to sit down, enjoy a drink and enjoy the views. There are also several places to eat and do water sports if that's something that you're interested in. The beach is really not too big. You can walk from one end to the other in probably about 20 minutes to half an hour depending on how leisurely you walk. So it's not a big, huge beach. One place that you definitely do not want to miss is the Paradise Bar and Restaurant. If you're coming to the British Virgin Islands, you've probably seen the famous swing with the paradise on top of it and also the BVI sign in front of that. So this is all here at the Paradise Bar and Restaurant. This is a fantastic place to settle down. The food was really tasty and we enjoyed some nice drinks here. It's open plan so you can see out into the sea and the sand all on the floor. So it's quite an interesting vibe, and the staff here were really, really friendly. There was also some fantastic Caribbean music blasting out and it's quite a nice vibe. It's also a fantastic place for a photo op right at the front where the swings are. We spent the rest of our afternoon here at Cay Garden Bay enjoying the sea before we had to head back to the ship to continue on our cruise. When it was time to leave, it was very easy to get a taxi. There's several taxis waiting just up at the front of the beach. Make sure that you have some money with you. They do accept US dollars. That's what we had on us because a lot of the places accept cash only. When we arrived back at the port, we had a little walk around and grabbed a few souvenirs, and I'm going to show you the video of walking through the port because some people find this useful to see what the port looks like. If you are heading to Tortola, I hope you found this video really useful. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know if you did find it helpful. It really does make my day knowing that I've helped someone out, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video of my Caribbean cruise series. Bye for now.